Several people have asked me if I would do a reading for the angelic humans as a group. So this reading is going to be for all of you angelic humans, remembering always that every human being has the capacity to be an angelic human. Angel means messenger. Human means God-man. Hu is an ancient form of the word God. Man is Homo sapien, he who knows, the wise man. And of course that includes women. So every human being has the capacity to be an angelic human. Within this knowing, then, do we come to an understanding that what the angelic humans are doing is coming home to themselves. That means you, as an angelic human, or you who are listening to this and viewing the video, who might be desirous of accessing your message, is desiring, seeking your own home, which is within you. If you have the desire for an angelic human reading for yourself, click on the link in the description to this video and you will find out how to schedule that. This is a very graceful, peaceful state. It comes with letting go of the expectation that you have, that you are part of the sheeple, the herd, the walking dead, as we sometimes like to call them, and that you understand within the silence of yourself, much as Jesus the Christ or the Master Buddha did, you understand this sweet, delicate experience that says, I always have, first of all, my real best interest for myself at heart, because you must call to yourself that which is best for you first. You cannot give what you do not have. And as you do so, you begin to live the experience that you wish to embrace in this world, which means that you are no longer looking out there. You are no longer looking outside of yourself to attempt to bring into your reality the qualities that you wish you had, because they're already living within you. Every quality that you wish to have, including knowing yourself as self-realized or enlightened, is already present within you. When you allow yourself to move out of the fear that this is not true, and you become the gift of your life, then you see in the fullness of what you are, how the depth of your knowing, your learning, your experience, your giving is the possibility of the conception that you know yourself as light. Think about it. Think about the word enlighten. In, light in. Light within you. So the light within you is then beginning to become always and completely the capacity you have to experience yourself as an angelic human. When you do so, when you bring forward through the undertakings that you decide are part of your message, how they are going to appear in this world, how they are going to be presented in this world, and you allow the world to see you as you are, which is really unworldly, then all bets are off. Then whatever you want to experience within the upheaval, the chaos that is this world at present, begins to become your blueprint. Remember, chaos means more information is attempting to enter the system. Think of dropping a pebble in a pond, and the waves ebb out, 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 out. And they're also simultaneously coming back in, in. You just don't see them coming back in the same way you see them going out, because you're looking for them to go out. This is how the law of attraction works. We like to call it the principle of resonance. In science, it's called PCAR, phase conjugate adaptive resonance. When you transmit in this way, which you always do, you cannot not transmit in this way, because in this dimension, for every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. So as you are creating your transmission in this way, you are receiving back, as the receptive being that you are, exactly what you are transmitting out. This means then that you are living in a manifested and unmanifested world, in the life that lives between the in-breath and the out-breath. And within the capability that you allow for yourself in this way, do you embrace your divine essential self. There is absolutely no limitation to what is possible for you. There is absolutely no limitation to what you can bring forward if you will contribute completely and absolutely to the capability you have to know your message. This means then that you step away from the disturbances in your field. You step away from the way you might feel upheaval or any necessity to be this way or that way. And you move, you emerge from, you live from within the shunyata, the void, the space that is the quality of you as you. There is nothing stopping you, absolutely nothing. And oh, I know how well we do that you're going to say, oh, what about this? What about this happening or that happening? What about all these things in my life? And what we want to say to you is, do you constantly want to give yourself away this way? Do you constantly want to say, well, because this and this and this happened to me in my childhood, I have to be this way in this time? Or are you willing to say, ah, I see, that was an experience I had. It doesn't have any meaning or significance except the meaning and significance you give to it. Remember, what you believe is true is what gives you the concepts and the perceptions in your life. Those concepts and perceptions were given to you by your parents, your teachers, your religions, your government, your culture, and your peer group. They are not necessarily your friends. Most beliefs are threatening. They are not supportive. If a belief says you should do this or you should not do that, it is threatening because it says you should do this or that will happen. You should not do that or this will happen. And because they are threatening, they cannot support you, especially within the message that you are bringing in this very inclusive way, when all of this information is attempting to enter the system and the human species is saying, we want change, we want change, we want change, but oh, wait a minute, we only want change in this way. We only want change in that way. We don't really want change the way it might come. So within this blueprint that lives within your DNA, do you have the capacity as an angelic human to not only find the happiness that you embody in this world, but to also bring forward in this moment, at this time, the realization that you can stop fighting yourself. You can stop fighting what you are. Give up, surrender, say, this is who I am, this is what I am, this is my authenticity, this is my integrity, this is the way I live. And as you do so, you begin enacting in your life what you would call your life's purpose or your soul's purpose, and what we call your commission as an angelic human. Because your soul really doesn't have a purpose. The only purpose, if that's what you want to call it, for your soul is to experience. It's a record. It records your experiences. And the more truthful you are, the more honest you are, the more you live within the capacity that you know as you to be absolutely integrous in all of your transmitting and receiving, the more do you expose the lie of others' lives, first to yourself and then to them, so that they begin to realize that they want to access their message as well. There is no other reason. And when you have your own first, very best interest at heart, when you say, I must fully love myself, I must love myself completely and absolutely, and only that, when that is your first focus and attention, then everything else is easy. All bets are off, because then you are able to very significantly affect that which is the quote-unquote future of the human species, because if every human being in the species would sit and be that which they are, then they would bring into this incarnation the fullness of themselves, rather than comparing themselves with others, trying to be like somebody else, following a specific leader, or trying to live in a way that says, my experience is accepted by mass consciousness, the mass consensus, which means they're just part of the herd rather than a leader, and they are no longer reliable upon themselves. So what is beautiful about this is that all of the angelic humans who are coming to the realization of what they are can then take the understanding of what they are into a new depth of knowing and learning that means that they come into an experience that says, I am always, always, always affecting everyone in the planet to the very best of my ability. And as I do so, it doesn't make any difference how anybody else sees it. It doesn't make any difference what anybody else in the planet thinks. There is so much incoherent energy bombarding the planet because of the mind of humanity. People are concerned about ice ages and global warming and all of these other physical symptoms. What about what the human mind is doing to this particular aspect of consciousness? What about the way it literally bombards, as we said, and mostly instantaneously, every experience you're having. There's an energetic envelope that surrounds the planet. It's referred to as the noosphere. And in the noosphere lives the thoughts, the feelings, the emotions of humanity. So you can imagine it's a very, very interesting place to be. Every time someone feels, and this includes you, every time you feel pain, worry, concern, stress, fear, you tap into the noosphere where all of that lives, and you draw more of it to yourself. So then you say, oh my gosh, I must be picking up on someone else. No, it's not because you're so sensitive. It means that you're simply drawing from that energy source that has a potential for being neutral, but what it's really doing is exacerbating what you are experiencing, so that you, rather than being the game changer you have the possibility of being, are now just doing what everybody else is doing. You know how people talk about how many friends they have on Facebook, or how many hits they get on YouTube, or how many subscribers they have to this or that. It's all wanting to be like everybody else. It's wanting to have more of everybody else instead of being singular, instead of being you, unique, with the message that you bring forward. The more you allow yourself to understand that you are playing a game, the more do you take the key to the doorway to your own dimensional experience and open it. This is how you make the invisible visible for all of humanity. Because every human being, when they are accessing their angelic human message, has the capacity to open a door, be a portal for multidimensional information. There is no one that does not have access to multidimensional information. Everything that the translator who is giving you this reading right now does, you can do. Everything that is available for you within cosmic consciousness only asks that you sit and be silent in your mind so that you can hear the call of your heart that says, please, 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 hear and answer within your energy field the force, the energy, the information that is coming to you. That word is wonderful. Information, inform. You are informing you. The information that exists in cosmic consciousness informs your form. And as it does so, you bring a completion to what you know as you, first to you, and then to those who are attuned to you by their coherent wavelength. And as you allow this access to be accessed by you, you create for all of the creatures of this earth an entirely new way of living and being. So, if you are truly honest with yourself, what you will say is, what is missing in your life is the ability to trust yourself. Always, always, always you have some authority. Always there is someone to become like, something to change, something to control, and always there is the comparative mind, the mind that says this is better than that, this is preferable to this. In a word, there's judgment. And judgment prevents the possibility of acceptance. And we're talking about radical acceptance. We're talking about you giving yourself permission to be yourself. Within this permission that you give yourself to be yourself, you no longer prevent the possibility of being comfortable in your own skin. You no longer prevent the awareness of union, because you are taking this polar dual world and you are uniting it in a very reliable way that says, I can live outside of judgment and opinion. I can live outside of having to control anything. Because the very thing spirituality is meant to affect, judgment prevents. Religion and spirituality are crippled by judgment. Sometimes religion can be crippling in itself because you look to a God outside of you. The translator just wrote a book called Divining Truth, Straight Talk from Source. And the basis of that whole book is you are Source. So then within the presence of your essence, there is no judgment. Because in the presence of your essence, you realize that you are the I Am. And that you are not only okay as the I Am, you can embrace all realms of all possibilities as the I Am and allow that very natural state to become the mental, emotional, physical embodiment of you, which means that you are walking around in a vehicle, a structure, a body that is the blueprint of Source itself, God itself, and as such, you bring that into every experience you have. You bring that into every occupation that you live within, and then you transcend living in duality. You transcend living in polarity because you're bringing your message forward, whatever that message is. Your message could be something like a spiritual sense of compassion, or your message could be holding the balance of raising children and allowing others to see what it's like to raise children from the standpoint of knowing yourself as God in form and knowing them as God in form. It doesn't make any difference what your message is. What it does make a difference is that you allow yourself the magnificent ability that is you within the omniverse, and in this interconnectedness, you understand that you do not have to have an opinion, control, judgment. You don't have to know anything except what you are in this moment. This is what we call the Christus consciousness, and that has nothing to do with the Christian religion. Jesus, the man, took on the Christ because he knew he was anointed. He said, the Father and I are one. Okay, so then that anointing, which is the definition of Christus, became Christ consciousness. You have the access point within your physical body for Christus consciousness, for self-realization, for enlightenment, for ascension, for all of the words that everybody uses that's supposed to mean that if I could just get to this state, I would be complete, and you are already there. All you have to do is acknowledge it. And that is the message of all of the angelic humans, because this is a reading for all of the angelic humans, no matter what your message is, whether you bring it to the whole or to a group, doesn't make any difference. You are saying over and over and over again, I remember what home is. I am home. I am source consciousness. And as you do so, you do not give yourself away. You share yourself. You are in union with others in a way that allows your divinity to stand tall in complete perfection, living life in that perfection, embracing, expecting the perfection of life to be your reality. So then in this, you instantaneously get off your back the burdens that you believe are there. You release any attachments you have to any belief system that is not supportive, because there's hardly any belief system that is. Check out your belief systems and look at where they came from. Each one of them is designed to control an aspect of the population. When you move out of belief and into knowing through experience, you begin to embrace the way life can be lived as the angelic human you are. In the beauty of this awareness lies your self-realization. In the beauty of this awareness lies your knowledge of your enlightenment. It's a quantum leap. And a quantum leap is different than a physical leap. A physical leap is a movement from point A to point B. A quantum leap is the transfiguration, the transformation of something, the substance of something or some person or being. You literally change what it is. And within the quantum leap of you as an angelic human, you become an unbounded being who is able to live in many dimensions consciously at once. We are so happy to have been able to give you these words this day. Know that you came to this earth to bring a message forward here for all of humanity. Will you accept it? Will you hear the call? Will you allow yourself to rely on the trust that you can have of yourself and yourself only as the creative force that is creating moment to moment to moment an absolutely new paradigm upon this earth? When you say yes to these particular questions, you will know the releasement of all fear in your life, and you will move forward within the message that you carry as an angelic human. And so it will remain infinitely, because once you have embraced yourself as what you are, once you have realized yourself as what you are, you carry it with yourself always. Thank you again for listening to this message, and may we all remember union, because that is what we are.